Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r slash Tales from Call Centers. In today's episode, on a side note, I looked her up on Facebook. I decided enough was enough. Dear UK customers, before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. On a side note, I looked her up on Facebook. I had a caller who I spent a lengthy hour talking to about her grown son's insurance. And in the midst of this conversation, which I spent most of the time listening, she mentions that she had gathered some phone numbers and emails from various employees of my company. She talked about messaging them on cell phones and messaging them via email, and how many of them simply stopped responding. One of the employees interestingly stopped working for our company and messaged her at one point with colorful language to stop messaging her since she no longer worked for the company. Anyway, as she is telling me this, I get the idea that she intends for me to do the same and provide her with some of my contact details, which I had no intention on doing, especially since she interestingly seemed to be able to recall the first and last names of every employee she mentioned during the course of the call. Basically, I identified her as note taker, and those are the type of callers I try my best to avoid further interactions with since they require so much hand-holding. Now, as a side note, we are not required by our company to give out our contact details or even our last names, but some of my coworkers apparently like the extra work because they provide this information. Anyhow, this member proceeds to confirm my decision never to give out my personal details, because she proceeds to tell me a story. She says to me, I couldn't get in contact with my rep and she never seemed available, which is crazy. On a side note though, I did look her up on Facebook and found out that she is a grandmother with lots of grandchildren. So they must keep her pretty busy. If I did not have a headset, I would have dropped the phone. I just could not *king get it. Like, when did we get to a point that I have to be concerned about these craziest people looking me up on Facebook? Like, ma'am, why are you looking up these people on social media? Somehow I felt fully violated, and it wasn't even me she looked up. I mean, all of my stuff is private, she couldn't look even if she tried, but it just was mind-boggling that someone would take the extra step to look up one of my coworkers on their social media. WTF. In my first call center job, when Facebook felt new, I gave someone my last name. The CX became my stalker for the next year. First, outside the office I worked. Then she started showing up to a bar I frequented. Small town, maybe coincidences. Then I posted I was having dinner with some friends at a dinner place, and she showed up as if I was her date. It went further south after that. So yeah, never share your information. I started using a different name after that. I was so scared. A few years before I started at my current job, a coworker had an incident with an outbound customer. We're in a moderately large city and our office was in an office tower connected to a shopping mall. Coworker got a guy who was furious our company was calling. He was being rude and racist that, among some filthy habits, we were calling from filthy country overseas. My coworker says not only are they calling from our country, but actually calling from same city as the customer, which actually made the guy angrier for some reason. He started threatening coworker in various ways, and the call was terminated. Less than 20 minutes later, a guy is trying to break onto our lock-protected floor. I used to work in a call center. I had a female coworker who had a bad call with a customer. I don't remember why the call was bad. This customer decided to send flowers to the office anonymously to this coworker. As she was leaving the office and carrying the flowers to her car, the customer approached and assaulted her. He used the flowers to know who she was when she left the building. It's terrible that it happened at all, but if she gave those flowers to someone else, like a retiring friend, that is super smart. Geez, was this guy a criminal mastermind? Now I don't want flowers. Dude. I used to work for a computer manufacturer named after a fruit. As a supervisor, I declined to cover a repair. 3 days later, this crazy person slid pictures of me and my girlfriend out to dinner an hour beforehand as a threat to repair his computer. I never shared anything other than my first name and city I took calls in. He went from there, found my Facebook, and tracked me down. At least when I was there, Facebook wasn't a thing yet. Got a couple of crazies. The screaming banshee, all over an AOL issue, probably the most batch *T insane customer I spoke to, just happened to be a therapist in Southern California. The tobacco-stained Snow White iMac warranty denial was another fun one. Unfortunately, I was T2 at that point, and not sharing my last name was generally not an option at the time. I used to work in a call center in Europe, where I live, and we would never give our true details to customers. We had fake names assigned if someone asked. What I'm reading here sounds unreal. I wish we could do fake names. It is so unfair. I would love to give a fake name. We can give nicknames thought, but only if they were shorthand versions of our real name. I honestly don't think any call center job I have ever held allow you to change your name. Mostly they say because our quality analysis teams need to ensure that the calls reviewed belong to the employee identifying themselves on the call. We had two addresses, our physical address and our mailing address. Some people would give out our physical address instead of our mailing address. One day, one of the men from the mail room, which I sat next to, came over to me and asked if I was expecting anyone. I have a very uncommon name. My father and mother are from two different cultures, so no one with my last name has ever had my very anglicized first name. Someone got a letter from me and drove out to our physical address to track me down because they didn't agree with what the perfectly boilerplate letter said. I work as a chat salesperson. People always say it's best to have returning customers/loyal customers. No, it's not. They are the worst customers. Because they shopped with you one time before, they automatically deserve 50% off and a *T ton of hand holding. Bravo to you. This caller sounds stalkerish. She needs to find a better hobby. I got the sense that she was lonely. I used to work customer service in telecommunications, and I will say for sure I come into contact with many more people now that I am in healthcare who just need friends and someone to talk to. I don't feel like she was a danger in speaking to her. Just didn't seem to be a person who understood boundaries, which is probably why she would spend an unnecessary hour speaking to me. It happens. At my last job, one of the customers tracked down a CSR at home and called the CSR at home for help with her account. That's why I refused to provide my last name. I work in the UK for a non-profit organization and supervise a small team. It's really not contact center. I did 25 years-ish of that, but we do answer some calls, mostly from people from the city I live in. If the phones get hot, I frequently hop on and help out. We had one client we were supporting that was known for being really abusive and unpleasant. He had a worker as a point of contact, and if that worker couldn't be reached, he was sometimes really rude. He had a way of pushing my buttons in a way that nobody else did. His health and circumstances were part of what we were helping him with, so while there were times I wanted to warn him and then terminate him, I generally just tried to let it wash over me and remind myself he wasn't well. Overall, he was someone that deserved empathy, but his attitude made that really hard. He was so condescending and supercilious. About a year ago, when we were all in working from home in the pandemic, he got so cross because his worker wasn't available, and I had checked and the reason for his call was in no way an emergency, and told him all I could do was ask his worker to call him the next day. He said he knew where I lived and said he was going to come to my house and beat me up. Then about 3 or 4 minutes later he said he knew what I looked like, and he was going to wait outside the office for me. Neither were true, of course. By this point I was done. I'm not very proud of what I said, but it was along the lines of, well, if you're going to come and beat me up, you probably want to make your mind up where you think I am first. He started screaming, "Do you know who I am?" over and over. I just went quiet. Eventually he said, "Are you still there?" I said yes, and of course I know who you are, your first name, last name. I'll tell, worker, you've called, and put the phone down. It had just ticked over to our closing time, and our phone lines close to new calls automatically, so that was great timing. He called to complain about me the next day. I had made detailed notes on his record, and he was told that I was considering filing a police complaint due to his credible threat of violence. He decided he didn't want to complain about me after that. I decided enough was enough. The micromanagement got to me. At first, this job wasn't bad. It wasn't ideal, but it paid the bills, and I was treated like more of an adult than I had been at previous jobs, and this was my first call center job, so it didn't seem too bad considering things I had heard about call centers. Then after my first 6 months, we got a new manager. The new manager was a call center veteran. The misery a person must go through to get to that level I'll never know, but I digress. He was okay at first. Possibly better than our old manager. Made a few QOL changes to start with and gain everyone's trust. Over time he slowly became more of a pain in the ass. Started out with he didn't care about how many calls we made as long as we reached our team goal. Okay, cool. We had one goal to meet and that was it. When we got a new soft phone provider though is when sh*T really hit the fan. Now everything is timed. Everything. You sound too long documenting a call? Jail. You spend too much time on the phone? Straight to jail. Too much time in the bathroom taking a sh*T? Believe it or not, straight to jail. God forbid you use the bathroom and get coffee/water in the same hour. It's going to feel so great to turn my notice in at the end of this month. I did phone support for 3 years. It was the worst job I had. I was working from home, and if I was 1 minute late clocking in, I'd be yelled at. I had a really bad kidney stone that I was trying to see a doctor for. They didn't care. I asked for time off and they said no. The choice was quit or put people on mute to throw up. My manager, commenting on how I never took advantage of overtime, told me, well, overtime isn't mandatory, but it is required. For some reason he got pissed when I laughed at him. Really? Okay, would you please put that in writing to me because I forget easily. The metrics they are putting in place are asinine. I did a lot with contact centers over my career and used to shut down micromanagers who wanted all kinds of metrics. Frequently would tell them we could not measure those things on their system without a major upgrade that would cost big dollars. But with technology and idiots whiling to please these people, more and more have been enabled. Yes, we could tell how much time after call work took. Yes, we could have you log out to go to break and provide reports. Yes, we could tell what your average talk time was. Yes, we could tell how long it took you to answer a call, etc., etc. But you could always tell the Karens that wanted it all in a report that would just provide who was the current highest on a list, but did not want to do any analysis of the data or types of calls someone took. No looking at what they had done. Oh, this person took 20 calls today on our most difficult product that has typically 4x the talk time of any other product. Instead, why did you take so few calls? I knew at my last job it was going to be bad when during the training they were like, don't log in early because you're only supposed to work your appointed hours, but also be 100% ready to go when you log in. One of the guys in my training class asked how we were supposed to get settled at our desks, run through any emails, etc., and be 100% ready to take a call. You could just see the trainer thinking of a way to say come in early and work unpaid without saying come in early and work unpaid. Good for you. I recently left my 4-year-long job at a Golden Handcuffs call center job. Same situation, paid decent, benefits, and started okay, but progressively got worse and worse. The team leads and manager would measure every single thing we did down to seconds, and some would actually randomly look at our screens through a witness software to check what we were doing. It was real pain. I moved on and I am so much happier now. This level of micromanaging and call centers in general aren't made for staying long. OMG, I just quit a job in a call center. Position didn't include taking calls, but they made us cause their other team was short on agents after being there for 4.5 years. I don't know what it is with call centers, but the micromanagement is on 24/7. Can I recommend something like data entry? It's boring but relatively stress-free, and a lot of times you don't deal with customers. I've thought about it before, but luckily, I landed a very good job in my projected career path. I've heard it been said more than one that people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. It was certainly true for a job I had working at a deli where the boss obviously hated me and was cliquey with a small group of girls that worked there. I never really had a bad call center manager. I just couldn't go where I wanted to go. I'm assuming you got a new job, although you didn't specifically, so congrats. Congratulations on the breakout. It's a feeling like no other. I've said this before, prisoners have more freedom and autonomy than someone working in a call center. Read that again, and take it in. I worked frontline, made it to manager, hated it because I refused to treat my staff like cattle, knew I was never going to fit into management life. I couldn't sleep because I knew that people on my team would worry about what action I might take in an absence disciplinary. I mean, think about that even, you are punished for daring to be sick. Did that ever happen to you as a kid? So a grown adult having that is ridiculous. I wanted to be a manager because I wanted to inspire people. I'm never going to inspire anyone other than power-hungry morons, based on what I was expected to do as a manager. So I moved into training and recruitment, which was fun. However, corporate world burnt me out, and I decided to pursue some personal interests and travel instead. Came back, settled down in my mid-30s and got a job as a bus driver, loved it, no pressure, just be where I need to be and don't need to make job any harder than it needs to be. COVID-19 happened, ripped the transport industry apart. I end up on frontline call center again just to try to make ends meet. I attempted suicide twice because of it, had an epiphany in January this year, made some big promises to myself, and almost a year to the day of said epiphany, I start a new job as a DevOps engineer. I always said I'd move into tech. Wishing you all the best for your future. Again, well done for breaking out. Leave on the 22nd, they need you for the busiest week in the year. What is jail for you? Sounds like time off the behind to me, but I know we would never be so lucky. Parks and Rec reference. Really, we just get in trouble. I don't blame you. I would have left as well. Dear UK customers, I've had maybe 1 out of 50 positive interactions with you. Stop getting angry with me for me being American. I am trying to help you. Here's 3 quick stories that are slowly making me dread taking UK calls. Thank you for calling. How can I help you? OH my god, are you an F** King America? Yes sir, but I'm here to help. How can I assist? Click. Literally could have helped this dude, but he got offended that I was American. Okay, makes sense. Thank you for calling. How can I help you? I need a bed and breakfast in Muffled City. I'm so sorry, but I had a hard time hearing you. Can you spell that for me? How stupid are you? It's Muffled City. I am so sorry, but I need you to spell it for me. I'm having a hard time finding it on my end. UF** King Americans make me sick. Click. Again. I could have and would have loved to help, but you got offended because I wasn't familiar with every city in a country where I don't live and don't typically have to do any work in. For this story, we've already found where they want to go, and I'm reading them disclosures. Alright, so this will be too late for you to CANC-. I don't care, are we done yet? Sorry about that, but I do have to make sure I read you these disclosures verbatim due to policy. This will be too late for you to CANC-. Stop telling me that I get it. Are we done or not? Cancel, and it is not refundable-. I don't care. I fucking know how this works, you people are idiotic. Click. Since I didn't get to read my disclosures verbatim, I couldn't process their reservation, and had to cancel it. It brings me joy knowing they pulled up and were denied. This one really bothered me because you people was said with such disgust. To angry UK customers, I am literally just trying to help you. I'm sorry we beat your guys as in the 1700s, but don't get mad at me for doing my job and wanting to do it accurately. Like it's not my fault you're calling us after the UK call center closes, it's yours. And it's not my fault you're not calling the bed and breakfast directly, it's yours. I don't get mad when an offshore agent answers my call because I trust the companies I spend my money with to train everyone efficiently and effectively. Just be glad you're not an Indian call center worker taking UK customer calls. Or American calls. Even though I'm American who takes 99% American calls. I get so many people who think I'm from an Indian call center and think I don't understand anything about America, be it gas prices or holidays that are going on, you name it. People really show their true colors on the phone, it's disgusting. Even while working in America, people get antsy like we're foreign. You guys in America? Yes sir, how can I help? 'Cause I don't want no damn sand and asterisk trying to solve my issues. If only we could disconnect for blatant racism. That's crazy to me. In my CC, when I was on phones full time, I'd be within my right to hang up on someone if they just overtalked me enough. Wrong answer. Correct answer is you aren't allowed to disclose your location. So now you know how Latin Americans feel when taking US calls. I'm in Mexico and had to perfect my accent to talk to Americans. I got my managers used to hear me in my Mexican accent with them when they heard my calls with my professional accent. I forced my Mexican accent as hard as I could around them. It doesn't help matters that even Canada hates us now. I'm sorry that you have these interactions though, sad face. Right. It's a bummer. Thank you for your kind words, Booger Peanut. Tell him you work for Expedia without telling me you work for Expedia. Don't call me out like that, lol. This is just a British thing of hating anyone that works in a call center. It almost doesn't matter where they're from, they're probably aggrieved already, so we'll take it out on you. P.S. Nobody in the UK actually cares about losing some battle over there. It literally means nothing to us, so much so that 99% probably couldn't even tell you who was involved and why. The Revolutionary War comment was just a joke, lol. Oh, I hate being called you people. One caller asked me if all you people are temp workers or something. Does anyone know what they're talking about? Yeah, no, you had to talk to 6 different people today 'cause you kept having a big baby tantrum and hanging up. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.